yeah, a lot of my costs with the business are actually just their fixed costs that come out, whether I'm actually generating money or not. So that's
Right.
where which is quite common with a lot of businesses, right? Really.
Yeah, to have things set up, you got to keep it running monthly. So to take a little time off, you're still paying all the same stuff, just about. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's no easy way in this system that we've got, man. There
Yeah.
really isn't.
Or break free of it, and create
Yep.
the free world.
Well, that's what we're all working on, which perfectly brings us around to everything. I met Denovan, what, maybe a month or so ago, I guess. We started talking and just bumped into each other on a on a board on Facebook, I think, and started talking. And Denovan's got some good stuff going on over there, and it was right in line with what the Aquarius Collective was doing. So we wanted to try to keep this relationship built and see if we can do some good things together. I feel like we can, and so does he. So he is kind of representative for the Global People's Money Supply. Did I get that right? GPMS.
Almost global people's monetary system.
Monetary system. Okay. And I'm going to turn it over to him for a little bit and let him talk about that. But yeah, we're really excited. We've got him and a couple others that are coming on board. So this thing's starting to get a little bit of traction and hopefully a little bit of momentum. We're excited about that. So with that, Dan, I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit and let you tell us a little bit about what GPMS does.
Cool, cool. So yeah, thanks for sharing this with your audience and anyone that's connected and interested in creating the free world. So GPMS.world truly is the platform and the instrument and the movement that brings all people together in unity to create the free world by a free will choice, basically. So it's actually so much more than the actual name suggests. It's not about money and money alone, which is obviously what a lot of people could think about with that name. They could think about, is it currency? Is it business? Is it anything of those things? No, it's not. In order for us to create the change in the free world, we have to create basically the ability to produce money unlimitedly. Because what we're looking at is all of the problems across the world, not some of them, but all of them, and seeing how all of those problems can be very, very easily fixed when we have an unlimited money supply. We share it, we create the equality that has never been there, and we just basically start anew, but just with everyone just doing a lot smaller amount of work. Those that can work, of course, not those that can't work. Disabled people,
Right.
people
Yeah.
they wouldn't have to work, but of course everyone actually gets something out of contributing, and everyone does contribute, or lots of people contribute. Most of the time they're not actually being given any reward financially for it. Take grandparents looking after their grandchildren.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wisdom, that they help their children obviously have more time doing some things whilst they're doing it, but it really does serve society, and they're not rewarded for that. So yeah, basically what GPMS does is we're actually collecting the worldwide voice of the people. There's a pledge and a decree that basically people are agreeing to, which is basically for our sovereignty. It's a restoration of all of our freedoms and our rights. So you can actually see that pledge on the website page, and
Yep.
you can see it includes everything, including our right to choice, the right to choose to create something completely new.
Sure.
And so with that, we give our agreement to a plan that's contained in the website, which everyone can read about. It's outlined in the website. And from there, basically, of course, there's more detail as to how things will be in the future as we start creating it together. But the first thing we have to do to create it is to come together with unity to do it.
Amen.
So once we get to, we've got 3 phases of the plan. Once we get to basically a majority of the people worldwide, and that's across all countries worldwide, then there's any government, any corporation, any institution can do to say, no, you can't do it, because the voice of the people has been spoken and it's been heard, because it's visibly captured. So you can see every agreement that is logged on the website. So no personal details are given, but when people fill out a very quick form to give their agreement to this, it gets logged by the country and then by the worldwide total. So you can actually see the total by country and the total worldwide. And this is what actually, as it grows, will give more people confidence that we can actually create it, because a lot of people struggle to think that we can at this point, but we're already sort of making good moves in terms of where we are with it. So that's the general. You can fire some questions at me. I'm sure you will.
No, that's perfect. That's kind of what we were looking for. We can only go so in depth in these things and invite people in to be able to see more and read more and find out more about everything that you guys are standing for. I think it's great. And one of the things that I'm finding that I think is interesting is that in all the people that I'm talking to in the different groups, all of their plans kind of align at the core level with, equal, basically human needs being met.
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
up front, and I think that's the big thing is human needs being met. One of the things that you said kind of struck me as funny with the talking about being able to, basically print our own money, and we have the right to be able to do that. It's funny because that's what's happening now. Only the money that's being printed and created out of nothing and by no, well, one particular person or a couple of particular people, however you want to view that, but it's basically happening now. They're creating money out of thin air and rewarding themselves for it. So
yeah,
that's the system that we live in now. It's just set up in such a way to where they're getting paid for it and restricting us from getting it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
really all that you're talking about is proposing an alternate system where it's, divided up a little more equally. And that's what really needs, something like that needs to happen. And now it's all hooked into the global system enough to where money is really just, it's numbers on a computer more than it is currency or anything else now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's heading that direction. I think that's great. I think it's great, and what you guys are doing. So
Well, yeah, I mean, just to say, it's really, really important, like, for people to sort of get clearer actually on what this is, and not to sort of, jump the gun, sort of thinking, oh yeah, that just sounds like it's impossible. That how's that going to work? What creating unlimited money and what, creating equality, how's that going to work? Um, when you actually give time to this and you actually read through the plan and you start to sort of see and understand, firstly, that um, in order for absolutely the end of war, the end of conflict, the end of obviously this inequality, to end poverty, to end world hunger, to end sort of the diseases that are easily curable, to have the full transparency that we've not had, where we've had all of this kind of deception and all of that stuff.
yeah,
Basically everything upon the planet needs to be returned back to the people. Everything, all of the
yes,
resources, and
yes,
we all basically we put our sweat equity into building the infrastructure of the planet, as have our ancestors. It is ours.
it is.
Uh, the monetary supply and actually supplying money so we have it all equally, because it's important to know that it is going to be the way that we see it as the new world, the new earth. Ultimately, we're going to be shifting away from the need for us exchanging money to do what needs to be done
Right,
generally. People will just be receiving such a level of abundance they've never ever imagined, and freedom. That's the
yeah,
key thing here. Able
yeah,
to enjoy, experience it, because they're not going to have to work as a slave
right,
40, 50 hours a week,
yep,
away from their family. People won't need to do that anymore. So even the richest people will start to see and experience what it's like to see fulfillment just everywhere around them, and
right,
people not being happier. So they then start to witness and feel what love is actually, because it's just everywhere rather than actually being distorted by all of the stress and the unhappiness that currently abundant.
yep,
So we basically have an outline of the plan which people can read through. They must take time to obviously to read through it, but ultimately, yeah, we actually are going to be creating this through getting all of the people together. So all of the movements that obviously want to see a better world, a free world, or just all of our rights and freedoms restored, but then obviously just a better way for everyone going forward.
yeah,
They're doing is absolutely important and must continue. But we're just bringing everyone under the one umbrella with GPMS so that we break the matrix,
yeah,
because at the moment, the illusion that the majority of people are acquiescing and going to continue to support the governments that are unable to do what we can do as the people. And the only way to break that illusion is by visibly showing that the people now have chosen something different, which is what we're doing through the website. So once everybody comes, those numbers go up, there's no longer this illusion that people are just going to support those governments. And that's where we can actually replace the governments with, committees and councils, administrations, which are the people. But where, again, just to summarize, where it actually basically is going to prevent, this greed, which is actually what causes most of the problems ultimately, and all of the financial conflicts of interest, is that when you actually activate the intrinsic value of every single human being with this, which is what we're doing. So it's recognized universally that our value is intrinsic, it's inside, and it's infinite. It's more much more value than any gold,
right.
silver, external
Yeah,
from self.
basically, we shouldn't have to earn our right to be here.
No, Absolutely not.
And that's basically what it's come down to: is we have to earn our right to be here and exist on this planet. And we're trying to do away with that, and that's freedom.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so,
We're just controlled by this perception that people have kind of accepted, that actually other things or things are worth more than us, which
right.
is just not. Uh, and so, of course, yeah, I've done videos about this recently, but essentially, people have different skills and things like that, and skills are useful and they're very valuable and they're important. But the actual value is obviously our actual ability to be unique and individual, and to actually just be able to contribute to the earth, our mother earth here, in our divine ways, and just be caring and loving and compassionate and grateful for everyone else and all what they can do. But then, of course, we will naturally, people who are happy and fulfilled and they're able to be themselves uniquely will actually be more than happy to share in contributing a bit of time and energy to make what needs to be essential done. And then, of course, with technology, as it's moving forward, and we will use technology going forward, to a degree, then there's obviously going to be less of a need for people to actually work anyway. So, it'll just be an opportunity for us to be more creative, and we'll have more time to do it. So that's basically what we're doing. So again, there's so much more I could talk about on it.
Oh
But
yeah, and it does. It goes down a rabbit hole, into a long way. But that's one of the things that I've been trying to put out there and promote here lately is yeah, I'm asking you guys to come and have a leap of faith and jump on and start trying to build something from scratch that's our own. And I know that's a big leap, but here's what we're talking about: the rewards being. The rewards are such that we get freedom as an entire planetary species from having to earn our existence on this planet. We're able to go about and contribute where it feels natural and right for us to contribute, which lets us contribute in the right ways. It lends to our happiness and our well-being and our peace of mind. And one of the things that seems like so many people don't get up there in the upper echelons of our society is that, a healthy citizenry means everybody's happy. Everybody's better off. We get an end to crime. We get an end to homelessness. We get an end to mental disease. We get an end to disease. I mean, these are all the positives that we get out of something doing like this, or out of doing something like this. And those, to me, are things that are worth going out there and being ostracized by people and this and that and the other, and struggling financially and, whatever it might take. That's okay with me, because what we're fighting for is a better way of life for all of humanity. And that's the bottom line and what it comes down to. So many people in our society, we want to tear everybody down for everything, but really, this is something that we need to be building up, and a lot of people need to be getting behind. And I think a lot of people are, though. I think a lot of people have gotten wise to it. A lot of people have gotten hip to it, and they're like, yeah, we need something else. And it's taken them a little bit longer to get to the point where we need something else. They're just thinking, screw what we've got now. This shit ain't working. And they're about to come to the we need something else, which is why, Aquarius Collective and GPMS and all those are important. And I imagine there's a bunch of other groups out there that are doing kind of the same thing that we are, just trying to pull people and groups together. We all know that our strength is in numbers. We all know that, no one plan is going to be it. It's going to be the fact that we all came together to make our voice heard as a species and as humanity, and said, enough's enough. That's it. We're doing something different that works for all of us, instead of just your shits at the top.
Yeah,
So
100%.
I'm excited about that. So let me ask you, just for fun, has you got any predictions about how long all this transition might take? Are we going to be better by the end of the year? Is it going to take 3 or 4? Yeah, just for fun.
Well, yeah, I'm honest. It's obviously impossible to predict it, just because literally happened. Just to tell you, how quickly it could happen. We've got like 120 odd thousand people that have given their agreement to GPMS. Well,
Fantastic.
149 countries. Granted, in a lot of those countries, in different parts of the world, there's maybe only 1 or 2 people in that country at this point that have actually given their growth is coming from the Philippines. You'll see that high in Thailand, in India. And then you've got the US and various different countries in Europe and the UK, obviously very much behind. But Again, most of the numbers are actually coming from the Philippines. At this point, it really is just a case of when is it going to go viral. Once enough people are aware of it and enough people have actually are basically trusting that actually we just need to give our agreement. It's so simple. It's almost too simple for people to actually wrap their heads around, that actually all people have to do is choose it through this website, and then we can create the unlimited experience for all of humanity. I mean, who doesn't want to have the heaven on earth scenario for all people? I mean, it's kind of mind blowing. People, they think, oh yeah, but it's a pipe dream. Well, you know, only if you don't agree to it, and everybody doesn't agree to it. But actually, everyone wants to have this. So it's a case of when people just say, right, okay, well, I'm just going to go for it and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So, literally at any point, I mean, with things going on around the world, you know, like obviously all of the conflicts and stuff like that, what we're seeing, you know, from an energetic point of view is that divine pressure is being applied by Creator to actually assure that this is going to happen. You know, this is from a different kind of position where some people may not sort of see things in this sort of way yet. But when you actually see how everything's been coming to a head in the last few years, you know, there's so many things that you could say were coincidental, but they're just not, because there's so many and they're not. It's like the pressure. What we want to do is we want to basically see that we can actually rapidly bring this in, just by obviously it just going viral and people exponentially giving their agreements for it and helping us like add people, because we've got a lot of people that are in, you know, Africa and Asia. Basically, they don't even have internet devices and mobile phones to actually give their own agreement. But we've got people actually going out as guardians.
Yes. Yeah.
We need actually more volunteers, more guardians, contributors, just helping us really just to add those names to the system. As the numbers grow, that gives more confidence to new people that just are invited to have a look at the website, and then they see, you imagine when they start looking at the website and they see that 5 million or 10 people have given their agreements to this worldwide. So it could go viral that quickly. Like literally, if everybody just said that to their brother and their sister or their mother and their uncle or whatever, there's just 3 people, you know, get on board this and tell 3 people, you know, and that just, okay, within 21 days we would reach the worldwide population and it would be done. And we've got like 4 billion people, you know, that are below the line of poverty, that are in Africa and Asia, that actually, of course, having universal abundance, unbelievably just equal to like the likes of Bill Gates and beyond, because we've got freedom and we're doing it for love and not for greed, you know. Yeah, it's going to happen. So yeah,
it is. I'll tell you what excites me about it is you're talking about the kind of numbers that you guys have got. You know, so what, like 140,000 or so. Yeah.
120.
So another one of the groups that I'm talking to here in the U.S. is General Strike U.S. They've got over 110,000 that have pledged onto their website to do a general strike here in the United States.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's good. So yeah, I mean,
but then we got other groups that have even other groups of tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, and now they're all starting to come together. So that's what's really exciting, is to see them all start to, yeah.
Yeah, well, we've got something like about 1 million people from the Philippines to actually process through the website. We've got, in terms of names of people that are aligned but just don't have internet and mobile phone devices. So again, we've got a limited number of us who are actually very active promoting it online. So when people go and look at our Facebook or YouTube, you can see that we've had like we were having very regular sort of, you know, meetings with different ones, you know, around the world, in the Philippines and Thailand and you know, Canada. Some of us are very active online, but there's actually most of that activity and most of the names are coming from people offline, and we've got like 1 million to process basically. So, I mean, that's very powerful. And then, of course, I mean, today I was in London and I went and I spoke to various military people that were actually there. I don't know exactly what they're doing. I wasn't interested. I just went to them, look, you and your pals need to know about this.
Right.
You know, so I gave them that, you know, to obviously have a look at, because obviously, again, when it comes to with GPMS and we get to that sort of majority, again, within the majority of people worldwide that agree to it will be people within the military, within all of the government departments that obviously see sense. They see this is right and this is what we want, and they'll support us to actually take it to the bit, you know, where we implement it. So yeah, it's very exciting. There's lots going on. It could happen literally any moment. It could go viral. But the expertise is within the majority of people. So people that have got their other projects, like Venus Project. I think you've probably seen a documentary, Thrive.
Yeah. They're from the Zeitgeist Collective guys had talked about you're talking about the Venus Project with Jacques Fresco.
Yeah. I mean, again, like these sorts of ideas that we're talking about with GPMS for years, but it's nothing new, right?
Right.
We're just providing a facility for people to log their agreement to create it, so that we can create it by choice, free will, and by the worldwide voice. So it makes, so then it's, again, it can't be argued or opposed. So, but yeah, that project and their designs of the kind of modern infrastructure. I mean, this is going to be what a lot of people want to see, and they want to live in that kind of environment. But of course, lots of people want to basically live even more natural and stuff, but still benefit from good healthcare and free healthcare and free materials for their buildings and everything they could possibly want, so they're not without clothing and food and energy and all the things that of course we have an absolute right to have, and why should we pay for any of that? I mean, it's ludicrous. So yeah, but that's where it's all down to choice, and again, it's like we're not with GPMS, we're not the ones that are like, oh yeah, we're controlling everything, because GPMS is not anyone's, it's all of ours.
Yeah,
and so
it's not a control thing.
yeah, it's just pulling all the people together. So that includes these different amazing projects that have been going on. So yeah, very exciting times, mate. And
it is. It's all very exciting. I was sitting here watching a podcast just now from these guys at Pro Socialize. Have you heard of them? Pro Socialize?
I don't think so. No.
I'll send you a link for it over. They've got some good stuff going on. I think they're going to be one of the ones that I contact next and try to reach out to. They're doing some podcast work and having some of the same kind of conversations that you and I are, and me and a couple other people. So they don't look like they've got a lot of views, so they will be open to being contacted and have some communications. They look like just the kind of guys that we'd want to sit down at a round table and have a discussion with. So I'm going to reach out to them and start building our network a little bit bigger. But yeah, I'm digging how everything's going. It's all starting to come together. We'll have our big thing on Saturday, so trying to get a couple more absolute RSVPs locked in for that. But it's like I said, I think I may have said something to you about it in the chat, but all we really need is 2 or 3 or 4 of us there. We just need a few of us there to be able to have a good conversation that we can put out on the internet and put out there as basically like recruitment tool. So, here's what we're doing. We are actually actively planning on building something and doing something. So in a lot of people's mind, I think that's going to move them out of the complaining and bitching mode into, okay, here's something we can do to take action for that. And then I plan on doing some other stuff behind that with regards to marketing and a message of, I've suffered with depression and anxiety and things most of my life. And one thing that gives me peace and makes me feel better is taking action towards building something new and getting us out of this mess we're in. Because I'm going to tell you right now, all that stress and anxiety and depression and shit, that comes from the way we're made to live on this planet.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when you start to reverse that, what you do is you spin that energy around and take it all and start dumping it into something else. And that's building something new. And I'm telling you, for anybody who's listening to this, if you'll jump in and you'll start taking action towards building something new, that's going to alleviate your depression. It's going to alleviate your anxiety. And it's going to make you feel like you're doing something. And that's going to make you feel better than anything else on the planet. So I think that's important right there. So yeah, man. Well, good talk. Is there anything else you want to get in there before we wrap up here, Dan?
Well, yeah, just to say again, yeah, like really appreciate everything you're doing, man. It's great. I love your website, and that's awesome. Like putting people together, and I've got a guy who is connected with GPMS, but he actually is a really nice soul. He's actually done a lot of work in actually putting together what he was thinking would be sort of the new kind of legislations or laws, which would be based around like the Constitution, but like the
right
in the free that now. I mean, he's put so much time and effort into this, and it's amazing, actually, like what he's done. And he's obviously looking at sort of, creating all of these different committees, and so bringing people in to sort of, help us assist with the committees of the New World, which is awesome. In terms of how that kind of fitted in with GPMS, well, with GPMS, it's like more simple than that. In this stage, we're just basically focusing on getting everybody together and just agreeing in principle to create the New World. We can't do that. And obviously, in theory, the idea is well, I say in theory, but actually, again, we're working with the universal law of do no harm, and our perspective is that actually is good enough. You don't really need to have any legislation. You don't need to have any other rules or anything like that. It covers everything, actually.
It really does. I mean, yeah.
I mean, when it's a case of, again, what we see occurring, obviously, as more and more people do give their agreement to this, and their own vibration is, positively by doing it, because they're doing it for the collective.
Yeah.
And there's this light at the end of the tunnel that's now actually there, and it's growing. As the vibration's rising for everyone, and everybody's seeing this growing and coming together, and it's actually getting closer to the goal. Actually, people are starting to do their inner work, and they are reflecting, obviously, on how we've been living and how we've been programmed, and all of the environmental factors that cause us to be stressed and irritated and reactive to each other. And naturally, by the time we even probably get to the majority, it can happen in a blink of an eye anyway. Yep. This consciousness, can happen for some people. It is happening, obviously, much more quickly than for others in one go. But as that happens, we're going to be living in a way where, of course, people won't be triggered anymore like they used to be, and they'll also be much more happy and grateful just to have what we have got coming. So again, there won't be the tensions that existed before. And of course, when everybody can literally just see that they're going to have literally just the ability to travel freely, and just to have like beautiful,
where you want, yep, and not have to worry about being somewhere at a certain time because I got to go to work Monday morning.
Yeah, and being valued. I mean, again, what it outlines in the website and on the homepage is with the decree is that no one has any authority over anyone else.
Right.
No one. We're all divine, and of course, things are organized and there's still structure and stuff, but it's not done through authority and people exercising authority over another. No, it doesn't work like that. Right. And this is where, again, the value is being activated in each, so that ultimately people truly respect and are grateful for another, and because it's mutually reciprocated. That is just what creates everyone. No one's left out anymore. No one doesn't feel like they fit in anymore. Everyone is going to basically feel like, yes, I was born to be in this place now, and I'm here. I'm back home. Back home.
Yep. And it's okay that I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. I'm wanted here, and I'm supported here. It's not you're here and you have to struggle now that you're here. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. And I think it's that's going to be something that's a stretch for a lot of people as well, is just believing that something like that's actually possible, because it's out of the realm. It's like actually being rich or winning the lottery. For some people, it's so out of the realm of what they are capable of thinking that I think it's going to be a challenge for a lot of people. But
what it is that basically, we've all dreamt about this when we were children. Children knew nothing of money and knew nothing of taxes and debt and all of that stuff. Right? That is something that we were conditioned to learn about and then experience.
100.
Like children, it was a free world, and it was free, and our imagination was free, and it was open, and anything was possible, right? Mm-hmm. And basically what we're bringing back, but into the adult's mind. So that is a bit of a challenge, because people have been conditioned not to feel like that we're worthy of it, that we could ever have it.
Yeah.
But the truth can. It's now at that special moment where we can, and we think, actually, in the end, we've got to be grateful that, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't think that the awakening would have increased to the point it has at this point. That actually has caused, I mean, obviously, it's horrendous what that's done, obviously, to lots of people and lots of families. But in terms of actually where it's going to take everyone else now, we have to kind of just move forward from that. Let go of the hate, the anger, the resentment, revenge. Of course, it's absolutely understood why people would want to hold on to those emotions, because obviously there's been a lot of pain and there's deception and all the lies and everything.
Yeah.
But that gets us honestly nowhere. So we have to kind of let that go on and just move forward now with the direction of travel, which it must be to obviously create the new, do it as quickly as possible so that as few people as possible continue to get harmed, because
Exactly.
the existing system is still very much continually harming people, causing premature death,
Yep.
deliberate, rest of it. And so the longer we take in terms of actually just giving a free agreement to obviously create the new and share and don't share it, then the longer it takes. And it doesn't. So it just needs just a bit of action, and just to sort of think, yeah, let's do it, let's make it happen. And before we know it, it could be there. Literally, it could be by the end of this year. Back to what you were saying, it could happen that quickly. Really.
Nice. I like the way you brought that back around.
I'm not saying it is going to be at the end of the year.
No, I feel you. I feel you. It's one of those. I know we can't call that. I just wanted to see. I thought it'd be fun to try it out and see what you thought about it. So
Anything's possible.
you never know. Anything is possible. This is true. This is true. Truth is stranger than fiction most often than not, too. So, well, I've certainly enjoyed it, Den. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Perfect.
And we'll put everything together, buddy. You take care over there, and we'll talk to you soon, all right?
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Peace.
I'll see you.